This is Bill's Place, a club that's bringing the famous sound of Harlem back to the neighborhood. And Bill is Bill Saxton, a Harlem-born and raised saxophone player. He has traveled the world playing jazz with some of the greats, but for Bill, there's no place like home.
Bill's Place is a part of a dream that I had. I've always wanted to have my own place. I played in many clubs.
Bill and his wife opened Bill's Place in 2006. The club is on the bottom floor of an extremely narrow brownstone, where chairs line the wall 5 feet from the stage, making every seat a front seat. Despite shows only being on Fridays and patrons having to bring their own booze, the place is always packed, with the jazz elite, tourists, and people just looking to hear some good old jazz.
When I was a kid growing up, I could walk from 145th Street to 125th Street and pass by at least 20 jazz clubs. I used to sell newspapers and shine shoes. And that's how I got to hear the music, because you could look inside the window. You know, I was too young to go inside. You could look in the window of the clubs and you could see the musicians performing. So that's how I got attracted to the music. Plus, it was all around me all the time. So as a kid, I heard all this great music. I heard all these songs. I didn't know the names of the songs or anything like that, but later when I started to play music, people would start to play some of these songs, and I knew them in my head. You have a chance to tell your story within the story. So that's what makes jazz such a great music.
Bill's Place, located on 133rd Street, is where the center of jazz has always been in Harlem. But Bill didn't know this when he first purchased the club. Not until this article in the New York Press came out did he realize the historical significance of his address.
33rd Street back in 1927 during Prohibition was called Swing Street. They had many speakeasies in the block. And the clubs from downtown, they would call this street Jungle Alley, because there was a lot of interracial mingling.
This same address was home to Willie the Lion Smith on piano. It was also the place where little-known Billie Holiday started to find her voice. Not to mention the after-hours hangout for Duke Ellington, Fats Waller, Moms Mabley, Langston Hughes, and many more. Louis Jones is a fellow jazz Harlemite musician and a regular at Bill's.
So, Bill Place is like home for a musician, you know. Because like New York, especially in Harlem, you know, clubs close up early, and they don't really get the kind of jazz that Bill, you know, put out, you know.
You know, with jazz, you know, the musicians have a chance to make their personal input. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I feel that every musician, every artist, or every person should do something to make a difference.
This is Jessica Wakeman for the New York City News Service.